Hi, welcome to North of 48. It is November the 20th, soon to be November the 1st. This is how we used to do it when I was strictly audio. Uh, YouTube and video have taken quite a bit of my time, and it's taken me a while to just get back to doing the audio podcast. So I appreciate your continued loyalty in this. So I had an interesting day. I had an interview earlier with a Republican committee member from Florida, and that was real interesting getting his take on last election. And then I was just dropped up about an hour ago at a Zoom thing with people giving their take on what happened in the election. And Peter B. Collins was there. I don't know if you know him, probably from PBS. He's a California radio host at one time, and out of LA, I believe. And I appreciated what he said. I don't agree with everything, especially on Ukraine. And speaking of Ukraine, we're at 1,002 days now on Ukraine. So I want to talk about two things: the last election, and I want to talk about Ukraine, which I shall do so now. Air alerts continue across Ukraine currently. It seems that Mr. Putin is really coming in full force with these drone attacks into Ukraine and some of those cruise missiles in preparation for Trump becoming president. Lindsey Graham has a quote out. He says, "You know, the richest country in all of Europe for rare earth minerals is Ukraine. Trump will do a deal to get our money back. To enrich ourselves with rare earth minerals, a good deal for Ukraine and us." So we don't know exactly what Trump's going to do. I do know Biden has unleashed some ATACMS that can be used in the Kirks region and some areas of Russia, which Ukraine has already used. Plus, they've developed their own cruise missile, um, which is great. The Ukrainian Air Force reported that the Russian forces launched 87 Shahed and unspecified strike drones from Kursk and Oryol oblasts and occupied Crimea. Ukraine Air Force reported that Ukrainian forces downed 51 drones and 30 Russian drones were lost in Ukrainian airspace, probably from the electronic warfare that they're capable of. Ukraine did strike back in Bryansk, a military target there. Apparently, 6 ATACMS were used, 2 didn't get through, but 4 did, and they got the military weapons cache, I believe. And Russia is saying that none of them got through, and there was just some fire from a debris of a drone. I'm going to believe, since it's independent and observation by other people, even on Russian Telegram, that Ukraine did strike and get that military cache. I was talking to a friend about this too. The amount of people after this war is over, let's say rightly or wrongly, however it ends, the people going back into Russia, they're going to have terrific PTSD. They're going to be missing, well, digits, arms, legs, same as the people going into Ukraine. We have a generation now, much like after the First World War, after the Second World War, with these people just entirely, they're going to be messed up from seeing the atrocities and having to do some of the atrocities. I don't believe that you can kill a whole bunch of people without having some recompense, perhaps in your soul. But if you're defending your country, you have no choice. So I really blame Putin on this and the Russians. This is a stupid war to get into, to be letting up. Putin has come out and said he will lower the nuclear threshold because of Ukraine being able to use the ATACMS in Russia. So these ATACMS that Ukraine is using, as well as the British and the French variant, um, they're approximately 300 miles able to, 300 kilometers is the advertised target range of the ATACMS, the ones that Ukraine's have. And They do have another long range cruise missile, which is reportedly up to 1,200 miles. So, well into perhaps Siberia, they could go if there was something there. It's just a shame all over the place. And let's hope for something better to happen for the Ukrainian people and for the Russians. Get the heck out of Ukraine. So turning back to the election in the states, I mean, it's one big soap opera drama after another. We have another 4 years till the next major engagement, I suppose. Another 2 years, we're going to have House and Senate elections. So what we do know is that the people funding or the amount of money was close to $2.8 billion. I mean, it's just incredible the amount of money in there that could have went to help the citizens of the United States with their water issues if they have lead pipes, with well, some of the tornadoes they've had, etc., for their infrastructure could have went in, but yet went into advertising. And Kamala, Vice President Harris, I think to be safe, I keep getting her name screwed up. Vice President Harris really went into the TV and media with commercials, which seems to be a dying art. Trump relied on a lot of YouTubers, or the YouTubers did it for him, and podcasters and streaming to get his message across. And I do know that I felt that I heard his message more than I heard Vice President Harris. No, she was fine. I mean, talking as a Canadian up north, looking down, I mean, it was a fine campaign, but she sure did not get people to come to the polls for her like Biden did. It was an e- existential crisis in 2020, and people came out to vote. This time around, apparently 18 million voters did not vote. I've heard two sources, 7 million and 18 million. The last I seen was 18 million people did not vote, which is also a right. If you choose not to vote, I mean, it still is a right. They're exercising their right not to vote, I suppose. At the same time, you would have thought there would have been a lot more people coming out to vote for the Democrats this go around, but that did not happen. As it is, Trump, where it looked like he had most of the popular vote, did not break 50% on the whole voting yet. As of yet, they're still counting votes. So he is yet to get up to 50%. He's close of all the votes that were polled. But don't forget, a state like California, where Vice President Harris is from, she can have grab all the votes she want, but it's the electoral college in each state that determines who's going to be president. And which is, in my mind, a little bit unfair with California over 35 million people. I mean, Canada has 40 million. You know, you would figure they would get more electoral votes, but you know what? That's neither here nor there. It's the American system of doing it. That's what they've done. It looks like, though, the two-party system is here to stay. It would be kind of neat if they had a third party come up out of the woodwork that would have to work with another party in Congress to get bills approved and passed. And kind of like the minority government we have up here in Canada, I suppose. I don't know. Maybe that's a bad way as well. I'm just spitballing here. So the one issue that came up in that meeting I was at was with Matt Gaetz becoming Attorney General. If he does become, he will impact the lawsuits that are happening to Trump. He might be able to make those disappear as well or reduce the penalties for it. That really makes you think about things, right? If you didn't vote and now you have this happening, some of the people in Trump's cabinet are just atrocious. However, he does have Dr. Oz in his Health and Human Services, or he's trying to get him put in there. So maybe Oprah will help him. You never know. It might be a good thing. And what about Robert Kennedy? He'll be in charge of food and the school food curriculum. He might have some good ideas. He might not be that bad, but he has seemed to me, from watching him When I was younger, I used to watch him, and he had a YouTube show and a TV show. And I used to think, he's a Kennedy. He's got to have good policies, right? And then perhaps he's given way to the power structure, and he's now going to be in the Trump cabinet, apparently. Same as Tulsi Gabbard, a woman legislature person that I really admired, especially when she went to support Bernie in 2016 against Hillary. I thought, oh my gosh, look at this. And she's since left the Democratic Party and now is going to be part of Trump's cabinet. Vice President Harris said she would have a Republican in her cabinet, and Trump looks like he already has two Democrats in his cabinet. For those of you who don't know, I was working up north, up in the Yukon. We had an accident up there, and there's 600 of us laid off for now. So, at late stage in life, now I have to look for another position. I'm hoping the place I was working at comes back online in the spring. I really do. But even talking to the younger people up there, we have an election coming in Canada for 2025. A lot of people disavow Justin Trudeau. He has not done himself a great service to his reputation these last couple of years. Coming in, what was it? I'm not going to even get into it, but when he first came in, he was like a breath of fresh air to everybody. He was young, he was handsome. Here we go, boys. Here we go. Canada's arrived, and now there's a lot of discontent with Justin. Perhaps rightly so, especially on the immigration issue. They brought in a lot of people here into this country that we don't have homes for. The hospitals are full. The Medicare is full. I know my own doctor is quit from the pressure, and he's got some older parents, so he wants to look after them. That being said, the Conservative Party in Canada has picked up some steam. I think they lead by 10 points in the poll. Pierre Poilievre and his commercials are everywhere. So just thinking back to the American election and how people, can we say they took a right turn or did they just screw it, burn the system down, let's vote for Trump? Perhaps something like that'll happen in Canada. It'll be the NDP is just, they're not even in place. Uh, through their backing with the Liberals, they're smeared with Justin Trudeau's reputation as well. So it's going to be interesting in Canada here. I, for one, am not looking forward to the election. I would prefer another minority government. So one party or the other, they can't get through disastrous legislation. But I don't know if I'll get that wish. Just like the Americans voted for Trump, that might happen here in Canada. We might go right wing as well. I know Germany did in a couple of their states. The right seems to have some movement. Now, when I say right, like I'm not mad at conservatives by any means. It's the people making it's the fascists that I don't like. Same as on the left, I hate neoliberals. And society is I don't know if it's a fight back. Would you say it's a fight back, or society's just getting tired of all the games played through the trans stuff, people's names. Uh, there is a backlash, I'm going to suggest, and people are just getting fed up with it because the first and foremost, what politicians forget, people just want to be left alone. They want to work. They want to have money in their pocket. When a stick of butter costs $8, you're going, holy mackerel. And groceries are up. People want to live their life and don't want to be dragged into this social drama. And I don't know if politicians get that. It's pretty tough to get some honest Joes in politics because let's face it, even in Canada, it's about money. And once you give up being a member of parliament, then you take your corporate gig. I suppose. So these were just a few thoughts of my mind I wanted to share. I hope you don't mind. And I'll talk to you soon. And Friday should be a live stream on YouTube at 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you. Bye.